Good morning. So it's been a while since I've made a video. Uh, I actually been having stuff sit around here for quite a bit. The parts didn't come in when I thought they would, and I put new blades on the lawnmower, and of course that didn't work right either. So anyway, we are kind of behind because the parts are all here now, and I still haven't gotten this thing any closer to being ready. I think first thing I'm going to do is try to get these out. The method I was told about, several weeks ago was something I had never tried. He mentioned taking a Dremel tool and slotting the screw, and then taking an impact driver and a flathead bit and trying to get it out that way. I have done it where I've slotted the screw and tried a flathead screwdriver, but I've never tried an impact bit in a driver. But unfortunately, my driver does not appear to want to work today. So I don't know if there's any repair to it, but that's for another day's work. Anyway, I have an assortment of extractors. Obviously, I'm only going to be using these two here, the small one and maybe this one here, but just to show you, they do come in many different sizes, and probably I'm going to end up using this drill bit. We'll see if that's small enough to get started. I want to start with the smallest extractor I have, which this is the one I can find. Then hopefully I'd be drilling it out about halfway, and or half the size of that extractor, and then hopefully we can drill that out down to a point where the extractor will actually fit. That's the other problem, is sometimes the extractor is too long. As with this one, I'd cut off the end of the extractor so that I could get further down and use a wider portion of the extractor. These don't always work because, as the old timer was telling me, so they do expand this when you're trying to take it out. These are all above, and even on this one you can see they're all up out of the surface. So drilling them and extracting them should work without a problem. I don't know if I'm going to try drilling these studs. I ordered a new set of studs, so hopefully those are all in the kit, and hopefully there's directions, or I can find the diagram in the manual or parts manual and decide which way they need to go. But I would like to take those all out and run a tap down through the holes, or clean the holes out as best I can. Of course, I need to clean the surface areas. So I'm going to go ahead and drill this first one and see what we can do with it, and I'll join back up with you after I've got it drilled and get the extractor in there. So I've drilled a hole, and I've got the extractor in there. It's not exactly centered. It would be better if it was centered, but that is the smallest extractor I have, and one of the smallest drill bits I have. I usually wear safety glasses, almost always wear safety glasses. The drill bit is hardened, the extractor is hardened. It's very easy for these things to break, and if a piece of that comes off and hits you in the eye or gets into your eye, it's not good. I see a lot of YouTube videos where they talk about safety squints, or they don't use welding shields, and they don't use this or use that. But anyway, it's cheap insurance. Safety glasses aren't very expensive. They can be had, at most stores for, $7 or $8, and it's very cheap insurance to keep stuff out of your eyes. Anyway, I'm gonna give this a try. I've already given it a little love tap to get it set. Again, it's very small, and it's very hard, so it doesn't need to be hit very hard. I would just tap it in there a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to put my adjustable wrench on there, and I would rather use a tap handle, but I can't find my smallest one, so we're going to try the adjustable and see if it will stay on there. and we'll see in a second. So I ended up trying the vice grips because the adjustable wrench was too large to fit on there, and I spun this around until the point where I felt it was going to be an issue with breakage. So I'm going to drill it out a little bit larger, and we'll try the next size up screw extractor and see if we can't use that to get that out of there. So I'll drill the hole and put the larger extractor in and see what happens. So I ended up drilling it out a little bit larger, putting the larger screw extractor in there, and I tried that and it didn't want to move. So then we broke out the old Map Gat's torch. I put a little heat on it, on either side of it, and that didn't really seem to do anything for me. The screw extractor slipped. So then I sprayed it down with some more PB Blaster, and we have movement. So it's not terribly great, but it was moving. I probably waited too long, and it cooled down. But I'm going to keep working at it, and it was spinning a little bit, so that's good. I should be able to get it out of there. Again, this takes two hands, and I'm not a good camera operator with and a tool operator with one hand. So anyway, I will join back up with you when I get this out of here. As you can see, the screw is out. Something I did that I didn't mention is I drilled all the way through the bolt to try to get some PB Blaster down past the bolt threads and into the hole, and I think it worked, and the heat helped draw it back up through the threads also, and down into the threads. But I'd soaked this 3 or 4 times, and it still was not easy to get out of there. So it didn't want to come, and but it's out now, and we can move on to the other side and see how many of those I'm successful in getting out. Again, that's usually what it takes, is some heat, usually. Not always, but it's a good idea to have a small torch on hand to give it a little coaxing. It's not a very large bolt, and you don't want to break off the tool in there or break the bolt off further down in that hole, because it's just going to make it harder and harder to get out. Like I said, it's pretty simple process, but I've had a lot of people ask me, what to use to get screws out and stuff if they're not familiar with screw extraction. There's a lot of tools out there that are made to bring out screws, but I don't know that they're made for industrial use or probably even farm equipment. So I would be careful buying those for something large like this. You want some decent screw extractors, and I wouldn't cheap out on them and buy Harbor Freight or Northern or something like that. I would buy name brand screw extractors, because they're definitely going to be a better product and probably work much better for you. I did, like I said, I cut this one down. I probably did ruin the hardness a bit because I used a grinder, so I did heat it up a bit, but it still works. And you probably don't want to use a grinder on one and change the hardness level of it, but it works pretty well. If you can get a set, I've had a lot of these, and I've broken a few off, and this is probably my last one that's in between sizes. But anyway, I'm gonna keep working on this other side and see how we do on it, and we'll see how I'm feeling about going on after we get this done. So I've tried a few things, and so far nothing has really brought these out. I've heated them, I've soaked them, quenched them, double nutted a set, trying to bring it out. After heating it, it still doesn't want to turn. I've drilled these two all the way through since they're broke off, so I won't be able to double nut or anything like that. Something I'd noticed that you may not know, when you're drilling, you'll notice a chip come out, or this long string. With a variable speed drill, it's easy to go too fast and burn up your drill bit, or too slow and not cut thoroughly. And also, you need to lubricate the drill. You want to use, I've been using PB Blaster, but any oil will do. They do make a cutting oil that makes drills and cutting implements work much better. So definitely, try to get some good cutting oil, cutting fluid, and that'll make your job a lot easier. Plus, it'll save your tools. I'm not using any special drill bits. You can buy cobalt coated drill bits or whatever, and they'll cut good. But if you go into a piece of metal and don't lubricate, you're probably gonna knock the cobalt off pretty quick, and you're gonna end up with another dull drill. So it's best to keep them lubricated, and before you drill, lubricate what you're going to drill, and then stop several times while you're drilling it to lubricate the hole, and work much better that way. Anyway, I'm probably going to keep messing with this some more and see if I can't get any further. It would be nice to get these out and move on, but we'll see. They're being stubborn. So all right, well, if I get some more out, I'll give you an update. If not, we may just finish this video here. Alright, so I was able to get the two broken studs out. Let's say that one advantage I have is I have just about every tool needed to do the job, but my disadvantage is that most of those tools are somewhere in here. So it took me a little while to get everything I needed, and I needed quite a bit more than what I thought. These did not want to come out at all. They were rusted in place, or welded in place with rust, and they would not come out. So I ended up drilling through them to try to get a little bit more stuff in here, but it goes all the way through, so that really didn't help. I got my die grinder out and put my little Christmas tree on there, and I went in behind and cleaned off the backside real good. That didn't help it bring out at all, so I was a little off center, so I took the die grinder in and plunged it into the holes that I had already drilled and worked it out, trying to leave as much cast iron as I could in the holes. So I was pretty much able to do that. Not as happy with this one. This hole over here might be a little bit larger, but I think with enough RTV, when I put everything together, that it should be alright. So luckily I had the right size taps, or dies, excuse me, taps. Was able to tap out the holes to the correct size and thread. I don't think I'm going to try to remove the rest of these, because I think I would just end up breaking them off, and it would be much more trouble than it's worth. So I think that's going to be it for today. I know I would like to get to cleaning this thing up and start putting things back together, and that would be really nice, but I don't know. It's been a long day already, and well, not a whole day, but half a day, and it was quite a bit of work to get these done, and I'm pretty filthy. So I think I'm going to wash up and enjoy my day off. Maybe we'll try to do a little bit more tomorrow. Probably, if I do anything tomorrow, it will be to get this double nut off of here, maybe tape up the studs a little bit before I start grinding on it, or well, wire wheeling it, and get it in the sandblaster and see if we can help it any. So I guess that's it for today. Thank you for watching.